Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my first impressions plus on-feet video of the brand new Puma King 2 SL. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the latest super light variation of the current Puma King. This is more or less a replacement for the EF Plus model, which was kind of the previous King SL. Didn't do very well. Cool design, really liked how they looked, but they didn't exactly perform all that well, and they certainly weren't the most durable with that cable system that they implemented. My pair actually broke the first 30 minutes or so that I wore them. The cable snapped. Never really made a follow-up video, but it's a shoe that Puma only released in pretty much one colorway and has since replaced with these guys. So we're going to talk about basically everything you need to know about this shoe in the video. There is a little bit of confusion with the types of materials that they've implemented here that we'll talk about in just a second. We're going to go over how it fits, how it feels, of course how light it is given that this is an SL super light model, and basically cover everything you should know about the Puma King 2 SL. So if you are interested in learning more about this particular shoe, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, you can check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk tech specs and performance. Now the King 2 SL falls into the often disappointing lightweight leather shoe category. And the reason why I say often disappointing is because the idea is really, really good. You're getting the classic feel and comfort of a leather, kind of more traditionally styled shoe in the form of the upper, and you're getting more modern elements, a lightweight construction and design in the sole plate with a more aggressive stud pattern than what you would normally see with this style of shoe. Now the reason why I say it's often disappointing is because when you make a lightweight leather shoe, what often happens is the quality of the leather generally is not up to par with other leather shoes that perhaps weigh a little bit more, so the feel is not quite as good as a standard traditional leather shoe would be. And of course, because it does have a leather upper, it's generally not as light as other shoes that you can get for generally a lot less money. So it's kind of a niche type of market that would be interested in this type of shoe, especially a Puma King 2 SL. This is not a shoe that I expect to become popular at any point in time, but it exists and some people will get excited about it. I'm personally kind of excited about it, but I'm also a little bit confused by what they've done here. Now to start things off, let's talk about the upper. And I mentioned at the start of the video that there are some kind of confusing tech specs on this shoe, and the upper is one of those elements that is a little bit strange to me. Now, it's listed on most websites as a premium kangaroo leather upper, and from what I can tell, what would be leather would be from this seam forward, and then of course from this seam forward in the front of the shoe, and then basically from this seam back on either side. Just these little pieces on the edges appear to be leather as well, or at least a leather-like material. Now, like I said, most websites do have it listed as premium kangaroo leather, where you will find that some websites actually have it listed as microfiber synthetic. And based on what I can tell, with my experience with soccer shoes in general and my experience with Puma shoes more specifically, is that these don't feel like Puma's usual kangaroo leather. And as an example, I have these guys right here. This was a limited edition King SL release, a remake of an older Puma King model. And you can very clearly see side by side, these are two very different types of materials. This is a legitimate, soft, very thin kangaroo leather, something that's really characteristic of what you would expect to see from Puma. And what's also kind of a giveaway that this is obviously a kangaroo leather shoe is this little stamp right here. This symbol means leather, and it actually says KL underneath, which implies kangaroo leather. And this is something that you're gonna see on pretty much every current leather Puma shoe. They all have that little stamp on there letting you know that it is in fact a natural leather upper, something you do not find on this shoe at all. It does not have that leather stamp, and to the touch, even up close, hopefully you guys can get this, it just doesn't seem to react like a natural material would. It has that slightly synthetic vibe about it. With that being said, it still feels really nice. It still feels very premium. Is it the nicest kangaroo leather that I've ever felt, if it is in fact kangaroo leather? The answer to that question is no. Is it decent? yes, I can't really complain about it too much. I just want you guys to know, if you are planning on picking them up, I can't say 100% that this is a kangaroo leather shoe or 100% that it's synthetic. It could be one or the other, I don't know for sure, but I can tell you that if it is a kangaroo leather shoe, it's not the best kangaroo leather that I've ever come across. Now you can see it does have a stitching pattern that is reminiscent of what you're gonna find on the standard Puma King, which is a shoe that is about $50 cheaper at full retail, and one that never really caught on, although I would say that the leather on that shoe does feel more natural and does actually feel a little bit nicer than what you're getting here on the King SL. So for that $200 premium price tag, as far as leather shoes go, definitely not the best quality that money can buy. You're going to get much better quality from something like a Copa, a Nike Premier, or a Nike Tiempo Legend 5, which falls into the exact same price range as well, although they probably won't be quite as light as these guys, but definitely something to keep in mind. What I don't like, and Puma always seems to do this with their leather models, is they put this nice thick piece of synthetic in the form of their form stripe kind of branding on either side right on top of the leather, which at the end of the day doesn't make a big impact on feel, but it still is something that I wish they wouldn't do, but they do it all the time. And then this synthetic part running through the middle, so where you have this yellow graphic with the King logo kind of printed in every single direction. This strip running through the middle on either side is a definite synthetic material. You can see the side profile right there. And that's something else about the upper that I can't really make out if it's leather or not, is that it doesn't actually have a side profile that you can see. They actually tucked it in, similar to what they do on the Legend 5, so you can't tell 100% whether or not this is leather or not. And like I said, the quality is okay, but nothing more than that as far as leather shoes go, if it is in fact leather. I really don't like making videos where I can't say for sure what the material actually is, but I just want to be clear to you guys that if you are planning on picking these up, you kind of have to guess a little bit in terms of what you're getting. I have contacted Puma's PR department for some kind of an answer as to what exactly this is, because like I mentioned, they haven't really put out an official press release for this particular shoe, but PR people honestly generally don't know all that much in regards to the actual product and technical details, so the response I get from them probably won't clear anything up, but if I do get any updates, I will leave it down below in the comment section. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. It does have a thin synthetic tongue, which I'm not personally a fan of. I wish it would have been some kind of a leather-like material, if not just completely leather, to match the thickness of the rest of that front portion of the shoe. The synthetic through the middle is a little bit stiffer, definitely not as soft, but it's there mainly for support reasons. And then you're going to find what they call their EverFit lacing system, which features these two what I believe is kind of a Kevlar or nylon type of material that is a strip that runs all the way to the base of the sole, and it acts as the two lacing kind of holes right here, or lace loops I guess I should say, on either side right in the middle of the foot. So when you pull those laces tight, especially on these two lace holes, it pulls on these cables and supports your foot in place. It's similar to Brio cables or Flywire from Nike. A common support system. We've seen it quite a few times from Puma on their shoes. You see it on the standard variation of the Puma King, and they've implemented it here as well. So you're going to get a nice lockdown sensation from the Puma King 2 SL, which is always a good thing. Just it's going to restrict the width of the midfoot. It's going to make for a tighter fit overall that you wouldn't otherwise have generally in this style of shoe. It does have a pretty standard cut at the back portion of the shoe. The liner on the inside is a textured synthetic suede, which is really nice. You can see you have all the Puma King logos when I get up close, which is kind of cool. It's got some decent padding and it feels nice to the touch. Good step-in comfort. Insole is fully removable. It features a mesh liner on top. Single layer of this foam, nothing too fancy though. Same insole you're going to find in any shoe with this particular sole plate, and actually in most Puma shoes for that matter. It does have an external heel counter, and this is pretty much the same super light SL bottom that we've been seeing from a lot of SL models from Puma over the last couple of years. They haven't changed a thing. It's a P-back sole plate with a nylon support frame through the middle and some nylon kind of inlays in the actual P-back sole plate. So it's nice and flexible up front, but a little bit stiffer through the midfoot, and overall it feels pretty good. It is on the thinner side, so if you're on really hard ground, given that the studs are on the longer side, stud pressure can be a bit of an issue, but if you're playing on nicer grass fields, you shouldn't have too many problems in regards to comfort at all. And of course you do get this stud pattern that features these kind of interesting shaped bladed studs. They actually grip the ground pretty well and provide pretty good traction. They dig in nicely, provide some good bite, and they're not overly clingy once your foot is actually planted, so you can actually twist and pivot a little bit more because the studs themselves do have a fairly wide profile to them. They're not overly narrow like you're going to find with Mercurial, so it's kind of a nice classic, but at the same time modern feel in terms of how it actually grips the ground and performs in general. So traction, definitely a strong point with this particular shoe, but certainly nothing new from Puma, as we have seen this sole plate and stud pattern combo quite a few times, and it is going to be the main reason why these shoes will weigh in at a fairly low weight. So with that being said, we're going to move on next to a quick weigh-in so we can see how lightweight the Puma King 2 SL actually is. In terms of weight, the King 2 SL is a super light model, so as you would expect, they are actually pretty light. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 6.4 ounces, the equivalent of 182 grams, which is actually very, very light, similar in weight to what you're going to get from a pair of Nike Mercurial Vapor 10s, which is pretty impressive. So if you are looking for that ultra lightweight feel on your feet, you're definitely going to get that from the Puma King 2 SL. As far as the appearance of the shoe is concerned, I don't think the shoe looks too bad. Obviously, it's classic Puma with the form stripe on either side. The colorway is pretty good. I like the combination of black, white, and yellow as an accent color. Obviously, you get that kind of brightly colored yellow sole plate, which is going to be very noticeable when you're actually wearing these shoes, especially from a distance. But the rest of the upper is pretty low profile in terms of how it's styled. Black for the majority of the upper, some yellow that runs through the middle. It gives it kind of a unique look, and then of course the white in the Puma form stripe. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the look of the synthetic form stripe. I just think it kind of cheapens the overall appearance of the shoe. If it were a synthetic leather finish instead, I think the shoe would just look a lot better overall. But nonetheless, I don't have any issues with how the shoe looks. I personally quite like how they look, but that's just my opinion. Let me know yours down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the King 2 SLs on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of reflective yellow SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of laces for yourself, be sure to check out the website www.sr4ulaces. You'll find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're pretty comfortable from right out of the box. I don't have too much to complain about here. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is because of this support system through the middle and how these little cables kind of run through cutouts in the upper, when you do pull them tight, and hopefully you guys can see this in the video, it kind of flares out the material a little bit. So when you look down, you have a lot of extra material in the midfoot that seems like it's just kind of pulling away from the rest of the shoe, which is kind of unusual. You're going to find that right at the ankle as well, it kind of bulges out a little bit. That's something that does happen with certain shoes, but it is quite noticeable when you look down at your feet with this particular shoe, because they don't really feel all that bulky, but when you look down, there definitely is some extra bulk. In regards to how they fit and feel, they're comfortable out of the box, whether this is leather or synthetic. Again, I can't really confirm or deny one or the other. They feel pretty good. It doesn't seem like break-in is going to be much of an issue here. And width-wise, it's going to be suitable for most people. I will say that the midfoot does have more of a snug fit, and because of this support system, it's not going to stretch at all. So if you have a really wide midfoot, probably not the best option for you. But like I said, I think they will fit most people. You have to consider as well that this material is going to stretch a little bit just based on how soft it is in the forefoot and toe box area, regardless of whether or not it's synthetic or leather. And you also have to consider the shape in the toe box area. It's a Puma SL model, so it doesn't have a perfectly rounded toe like you're going to find with the standard King. It comes to a bit of a point at the big toe and then kind of curves around. So it has more of a pointed shape to it. Not everyone's a fan of that. It personally doesn't bother me, but like I said, if that's something that you don't really like, probably not the best option for you. In regards to sizing, I went a half size up to a 9.5 US as opposed to my usual size 9, and the fit and the length seems to be perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going a half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my first impressions of the Puma King 2 SL. Be sure to look out for some follow-up content on my channel for these guys in the near future. In the meantime, if you guys are looking to get a pair for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself. That'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick them up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions regarding the King 2 SL, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.